Jim Hill sponsors Joshua versus Molina on Sky Sports Box Office.
This is KUGAN CASSIUS for Rifle TV in association with Macklin's Gym Marbella, presenting the Eddie Hearn Show.
This has got potential, the Eddie Hearn Show. I've noticed it trending on Twitter. A lot of hashtags.
I think it's got
We all
legs.
know I'm the most entertaining man in British boxing.
You serious?
Of course I'm not serious.
No, you are secretly serious.
I'm up there, aren't I?
Did your ego take a dent the other day with David Haye?
No, I thought it was quite accurate. I do talk a lot, don't I? But that's what I'm supposed to do. Fancy a promoter talking too much. You know.
Have you spoke to Haye since?
Yeah.
What was said?
Well, we're always speaking with the team, you know, because obviously got a lot to sort out. But I don't think. I mean, it didn't go down very well with Tony. Not what he said about me, but him throwing a punch. And
because when it happened,
another
it was a
problem
bit
we've got is they're both at the show on Saturday.
Is Bellew there as well?
Bellew's working for 5 Live and Haye's working for Sky, so they're 10 yards from each other. And it's going to be,
That's great.
I know, it's great for you, but it's like Chisora-Whyte. You're sitting there going, I can't wait for Chisora-Whyte press conference. I'm sitting there thinking, you've got Dylan White telling me, as soon as he sees him, it's all going off, and Chisora's like nuts. What are we going to do?
Well, you kind of knew this when you made the
I didn't
fight.
know it was going to go. Someone said to me last night, fed up of your fake confrontations, Chisora-Whyte. I'm like, are you serious?
Just going back to that Haye-Bellew press conference, obviously when it happened and when after you were speaking about it, weren't quite clear because the punch was thrown so quickly until it was slow
Cat-like
mo.
reflexes.
Yeah, but to be fair, it was Bellew that pushed Haye first, and then.
All right.
Well, I'm just saying.
Grass.
It was.
It
Grass
was.
is there.
I mean, look, from a press conference point of view, it had everything. I mean, the amount of people that have come up to me since the press are going, what about Haye having a pop at you? I mean, that's brilliant. It's exactly what you want, people talking. And it couldn't have gone, listen, he's a brilliant self-promoter. But he did in the head-to-head. He lost his rag before the head-to-head. You could see him walk up to the stage. But it's great, it's what you want. You know, it felt like, not quite like the Frampton Quig, but that Frampton Quig build-up was the nuts.
One of the
you
best.
know, in Belfast, that was one of the best press conferences I've ever been to.
Yeah.
We got booed out of town so bad, it was the bollocks. So that's up there, and then we're going to do some public press conferences as well. And, you know, I've got plenty more to say to Mr. Haye. Do you know what he done really well was? He spoke over you and me and Bellew really well.
Really well.
It's so annoying when you're trying to say something and someone's going, nah, 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 and you're going, fucking let me get a word in. So he was on point.
The best 3 moments from the day was him ripping into you.
Oh, thanks, mate.
That was probably number 1. His impression of you when he was going, he wanted to watch
apples and pears. He goes, I wanted to watch Kate Taylor, and there he was jumping in, apples and pears. I was like, I watched that interview back the other night. I was like, I weren't even in shock.
I kind of called you in as well. I think people don't realise that.
For what?
Well, when I was interviewing Katie Taylor, I said to you before, it'd be nice if you come in there and kind of.
Oh, was that? Yeah.
Yeah. So it's not.
You're to blame that I've got a big gob.
Why? You don't have to say.
No, but you always say to me, let's do a piece in the car. Let's do it. So now I've decided I'm just going to go real low key. No, I am.
Yeah.
And you watch at the press of this week, I'm going to introduce the fighters and I'm going to let everybody else do the talking.
Yeah, but you can do that.
I'm joking, by the way.
And do your thing.
Of course, it's my thing. It's what I do. I talk too much. Apples and pears. I'm a loudmouth.
The third great moment
Promoter.
in there was Andy, the security. David!
Get off him, David!
Leave the boxer alone!
No, but everyone thought that when he's saying that, he's talking to David Haye.
He wasn't. He was
no,
talking
David
to-
the security,
Yeah.
who was out of order and he knows it. But listen, he's doing his job as well. David!
No need for that.
There's no need for that touching the boxers, David! I hope he got the mick taken out of him. Andy, the security
I'd love
guy.
to do an interview with him about it.
I haven't seen him since. When I see him in Manchester, the first thing I'm going to say to him is, David, do not touch the boxers! Supposed to be a tough guy.
It's great. Anyway, let's start with Mr. Josh Warrington. Released a statement the other day saying that, well, in a nutshell, you've parted ways. A little bit of a shock. You've been building Josh Warrington for a while now, selling out arenas in Leeds. Why?
A number of reasons. I just spoke to Josh actually about 20 minutes ago on the phone. Had a good chat. It's nothing personal. I really like Josh Warrington. I think he's a great bloke. I've had an amazing time in Leeds. The Leeds fans have been sensational. But it was more than anything a business decision, really. I wanted him to fight Lee Selby last summer. And he should have boxed Lee Selby last summer. And it wasn't Josh Warrington's decision, it was people around him decided no because he was getting married and his head wasn't right. Then we went and had the other fight, which of course didn't look great, but you know, they made the decision because they were looking out of his best interests. But for me, when you get a chance to fight for a world title, and it was a lot of money as well, I think looking back, that might have been the moment where there started to be a little, and then we did the show on July the 30th, which didn't sell well at all and was a really good card, and I'd done a nice few quid on that night. And then we were looking to do something at the end of this year, but we had Monaco. I talked to him about going on Monaco, but it was a bit too late. And then I wanted him to fight in November against Selby, spoke to Heyman's guys. The money Josh wanted to box just didn't work at the arena. And then moving forward into this year, because of how July 30th went, I wanted him to be in a fight against Selby or even Quigg. They want to have another couple of defences in Leeds and then look to a world title shot late summer or something like that. And I wasn't really prepared to do that. His dad had spoken to some other people because he's looking out for his options. And I just said, okay, I'm not willing to make you an offer. Not because I've got the just because they're the fights I want you to be in. You've got other ideas, other plans, and I don't know, it's not a case of, I haven't got a clue how much they were offered, but I said to Steve Wood, if you don't want to be with me, then I'll, go elsewhere. And, they asked if I was going to make an offer. The answer was no. So I think they've got 2 or 3 other offers on the table. And that's it, really.
I mean, it doesn't take a rocket science to...
Well, you ain't one, are you?
Well, I was just saying, neither are you, Edward, trust me.
Well, I reckon I'm more of a rocket scientist than you.
In your field, yeah. But are we assuming that there's some sort of link to Frank Warren, BT
He's made
Sport?
offers, yeah. So is another broadcaster. I think 2 other broadcasters as well. I think from the outside, you look at Josh Warrington and what we've got in Leeds, and you think it can, it's a good opportunity. But I just feel like we've done it all in Leeds now, and I think the Leeds fans are waiting for the big one, and I wanted that big one to be Quigg or Selby, and it wouldn't have been next, and maybe not the one after that either. So
it must dishearten you a little bit though, because the work you've put with.
Do you know what? I don't really.
Josh Warrington.
I spoke to him half an hour ago, and he said it's just everything we've done together has just blown my expectations. I wanted to become British champion. I thought if I could ever headline at the arena, we've done that 6 times. He's number 2 in the WBC. I'm proud of the job that I've done with Josh Warrington. I think I've done a faultless job with him. I think I've done a great job in Leeds, bringing big time boxing back to Leeds. Again, the fans have been brilliant. I want to thank them all. And it doesn't mean it's the end of us in Leeds, because it's not. But you get to a stage and sometimes you have to let your head rule your heart in business. And if I was going to make him a substantial offer, it was only for the fights that I, Sky, and the fans want to see him in. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm a fan as well. And the way I feel is, I want to see Warrington Selby now, or last year. I want to see Warrington Quigg. I don't want to see Warrington defending his WBC. I've seen that. And like I said, the last one we done, we suffered. Because I felt like it was one too many. But, Josh has been a pleasure to work with. I've loved working with Josh Warrington. You know, some of the best nights at the arena, the atmosphere, that, you know, it's brilliant, absolutely brilliant. But I'm probably grown up a lot over the last 3 or 4 years, where I think 3 or 4 years ago, I would have made an offer and broke the bank and said, I don't care, just keep him, just whatever you do, we can't lose a fighter. But you can't be like that. You know, you have to make the right decisions, and some fighters will, you know, you have to go the extra mile to try and keep. The broadcaster is absolutely insistent that you keep this fight, and other ones you have to make sure they're in the right fights. And I think we're at a stage now where I can't afford to put on shows and fights that give people the opportunity to moan in 2017. And I think Josh Warrington defending his WBC international title in that kind of fight would have been one of those fights you'd moan at. So I can't, you know, these guys have got to be in the real fights. And Josh, let me just make one thing clear. Josh wants the Selby fight, yeah? But there's people around him, they want it too, but they want it at the perfect moment, for the perfect amount of money. And sometimes when you're a challenger for a world title shot, that doesn't happen. And you look at Lee Selby and you think, 22 months out or whatever it's been, 2 fights. Now is the time to fight Lee Selby. You're never going to get a better time to fight Lee Selby. Now, in January or February, you might fight Barros, get a little bit of momentum back, might be a tougher fight. But, you know, I think your next question is, do you envisage more fighters?
No,
and the answer is yes, I do. I'll answer it for you.
All right, I'm not going to ask that yet. I'm going to ask that after this one. I'm not going to put words in your mouth, but I'm just going to quote what you said in an interview we did recently, right? So you said that it may be...
This could be awkward.
...a plan of yours to only have elite fighters at Matchroom, people that you believe that can become world champions.
Yeah. The second bit was as important as the first bit.
Okay.
Because people you believe can become world champions. You're not just an elite fighter when you start out. Do you know what I'm saying? So going back to that quote, yes, I want elite fighters or people who have the potential to be elite. I don't think there's anyone that doesn't. Do you know what I mean? But you've got to understand, when you go to your broadcaster with a list of 40 fighters and you say to the top people, which of these fighters is a priority to you? What percentage of those 40 do you think they come back with?
Go on.
I don't know. But you know, it could be 15, 20%. It doesn't mean they don't care about the others. But what I'm saying is, obviously, you've got to build from bottom to top. It's not a case of, we just want elite fighters. We want fighters we're signing now, who are coming through the amateur system, who we believe have the ability to be elite fighters. And, you know, I've had some stick in the past saying, I'm not interested in British level fighters. It's probably a bit of a moronic thing to say, because there's no, you know, winning a British title is a fantastic achievement. But do we understand the fact that being ruthless and being honest, being a British champion, is not going to deliver you big ratings on the channel, he's not going to deliver you big money, and he's not going to deliver me big money. That's the truth.
Yeah, but your mindset now has changed, isn't it?
From when?
Well, from say 2 or 3 years ago, where
we were building fighters, but I think we're in a position...
Not everyone you signed 3 years ago, you were thinking, well, these are all going to become world champions, or these have all got potential to be elite
potential
fighters.
To become world champions, yeah. And I think what I'm saying now is we're going to be a lot more picky and fussy in terms of who we're going to sign. 3 or 4 years ago, we were starting out, we just wanted as many fighters as possible. We weren't signing fighters that I'd look at and think, you ain't going nowhere. Fighters that I believe have good pedigree, good quality, and can go on and perhaps challenge for world titles. But now, you know, I'm probably looking to consolidate the team and consolidate the dates and try and make the Saturday night fight nights, not just do a show for the sake of it, you know? To try and actually make them world championship boxing, big cards, and, you know, we've got a lot of fighters to keep happy. But now, fighters have other options of where to go. And the pressure that I've felt over the last sort of 2 years is fighters had no option where to go. It was with Matchroom, or it was just fade into, insignificance. Now you've got other platforms. You've got Channel 5, you've got BT, you've got ITV probably coming on board. So you've got a choice. Who's the right person to guide your career? Who's the right broadcaster that's going to give you the longevity, the security, financial and itinerary-wise in your career, schedule-wise? So, yeah, I think I stand by that comment. I'm looking for fighters that that are and can become elite fighters. Why are we in the game otherwise? I mean,
where does that leave your current stable? The ones we're not going to go through names. I'm saying there's fighters you have at Matchroom. They're all different levels.
But but all those guys, I believe, can challenge for world titles and become world champions. I don't.
Yeah, but do you believe everyone in Matchroom in your current stable is what you call elite or potential to become elite?
It's a good question, but I believe at the moment everyone in our stable can be built into a position to challenge for world titles. So I can't answer whether they're going to become elite or not. They're going to have to prove that point. Do you know what I mean? I'll tell you a good example, right? KUGAN. Let me tell you how good this fight is this weekend between KUGAN and Lewis Concepcion. Concepcion is a beast. He's a 2-weight world champion. From the first bell, he is not going to stop as long as he's on his feet. After all the build-up and everything, getting KUGAN to that position, this is the moment. We find out if KUGAN is elite. I believe, in all my heart, he is. And I believe on Saturday night he becomes world champion. If he's not elite, if he's not tough enough, he does not beat Lewis Concepcion. Simple. That's the moment you find out. And if he loses, it's not a case of, oh, well, you're not elite, mate, off you go. You build them, you go again. But I believe KUGAN is an elite fighter, but the proof is always in the pudding.
Where does that leave your fighters that get to this stage where it's sink or swim and they sink? Where does that leave your fighters there?
Absolutely. If you believe in them, and if you believe they've got the ability, just because you fall at the first hurdle, Charlie Edwards is a good example. He took a world title fight well before his time, but the opportunity was there, and he grabbed it with both hands, and he had a massive learning experience that night against one of the top flyweights in the world. Come back, just got a win at the weekend. He'll go again in championship fights early next year. I believe he'll win a world title. I believe in all our fighters. I don't look at any of our fighters and go, oh, I've got to get rid of you. But don't forget, it's a business as well. And we've got to provide them with the right schedule, the right money, and the right route to get to where they need to be. There's no point taking a fighter if you can't manoeuvre him into that position to find out if he's elite or not. So all of the guys who we represent currently will all get the opportunity to progress and to challenge up the title ranks, ultimately to world titles, as long as they keep winning. I will do everything for them to make sure that they get the opportunity to prove themselves and to change their life and to win world titles. 100%, but they've got to be good enough. But it's more a case now, the team we've got is the team we've got. Will some move? Yes. Will some move the other way? I mean, people kind of, probably in the last 2 weeks, I've had 4 or 5 fighters who aren't with Matchroom or aren't amateurs come on to me to try and join Matchroom and Sky. You're going to get 2-way action, but we've got to choose the right people. Like I said, 3 or 4 years ago, it was, he's won an ABA title, he's on a GB squad, he's a British champion, sign it, bring them all in. Now it's more, okay, how can we build you? Where are you based? Where are you in the world rankings? What are we going to do with you? You've got to have a plan. You can't just take these fighters on and say, oh, just get him signed up more. You've got to have a plan. And we've got to also give the best opportunities to the fighters that we've got. And now we've got a stable of fighters that we're looking at in 2017, defend world titles, challenge for world titles, have unification fights, box on pay-per-view, and that is the model. But a lot of elite fighters, once they get to a stage, they only want to box on pay-per-view. And I'm looking forward to the pay-per-view market opening up, because I won't be the only one getting stick. You know? Because everybody is trying to do pay-per-view. Everybody. BT, ITV, you know, I'm sure there's other broadcasters as well. So you're going to see a real, I think, a flood of pay-per-view events in 2017. And we've got to make sure we've got the very best ones. We start off on March the 4th with Haye-Bellew.
Where did the Kell Brook rumour come from?
No idea. I saw the source of it. It was some bloke on Twitter, and you know, I saw it last night. My Twitter started going mad. Kell Brook's left Eddie Hearn. Bloody hell, has he? So I text Kell, and he phoned me straight up and just sort of started laughing. Come on, baby, come on. And he's going training camp today. So you never know in boxing. You know, some people, you take their loyalty. I mean, don't forget, when Tony Bellew, when we were in negotiations with David Haye and his team, other promoters were getting people to phone Tony Bellew saying, do the fight on our channel, we'll pay you this, we'll pay you that. David Haye was trying to get messages to Tony Bellew and was calling him or saying, don't worry about Eddie Hearn, leave them. So fighters are always going to get the carrot dangled in front of them. It's how loyal they are. But also, sometimes an opportunity is too good to turn down. And I understand that. So I can't tell you we're going to keep every fighter that we've got. And that's irrelevant of what's happening in the marketplace with our broadcasters. That's just life. But I've been through a hell of a lot with Kell Brook. Hell of a lot. And if that did happen, it'd be a massive kick in the nuts. I don't envisage it to happen at all. But who knows in the future? But, you know, certain fighters, you trust their loyalty 1,000,000%. Tony Bellew's one of them, and probably Kell Brook too. So I don't think there's any truth at all in that. Well, I know there's not, but who knows what the future holds. In 4 months, if I can't deliver... Kell's another one. Pay-per-view fights only for Kell Brook. That's all he wants. So I've got to deliver them. And if I can't deliver them, who knows? Do you know what I mean?
From your current stable, I asked you this when this BT and BoxNation link first come about. I said, from your current stable, do you know of boxers that under you at the moment that are considering going over there specifically? Not you think there may be some, but just do.
No, I mean you've got some fighters that are under contract that obviously aren't going anywhere. Other fighters that have been with you a very long time, might be on a fight by fight, or you know, and other fighters that have been boxing for Matchroom, or not for Matchroom, but on Matchroom shows that aren't under contract, that we have no obligation to. Tyrone Nurse is a good example. Phoned us up, said, look, could you make us an offer? We'd like to stay with Matchroom or stay on Matchroom shows. I said, look, we haven't got anything. He told us the offer that he'd had. And we said, snap their hand off, son. Do you know what I mean? So every fighter's in a different position. Is there fighters that are talking to, and don't limit yourself to one broadcaster, because there's loads of broadcasters talking to fighters at the moment. Are there broadcasters? I would be an idiot to say no. Are there broadcasters talking to Frank Warren's fighters? Yes, absolutely. So it's just boxing. Nothing changes. And by the way, it's been like that for the last 2 or 3 years. You know, there's been fighters, we've had a couple of fighters leave us to join Warren in the last year or so. But now, obviously, they've got a bigger carrot to dangle. It's whether you believe them or not. It's whether they're the people you want to move forward with. But I'm easy. And I keep saying to you, if you want to be with us, you be with us. If you don't, you don't. And I think that's probably not the same attitude that I had 3 or 4 years ago. Because I remember once being on a beach. I was in the summer holidays, I think, and I got the call that Frampton was going to leave. And I was like, oh, I was really, not upset, but I was angry. But I don't really feel that way anymore. I don't know why. Maybe I've just grown up. Maybe your emotions become sort of numb over the years working in boxing. But even that thing with Kell last night, I saw it, I was like, hey? I thought, no. Would he? You know, it was like, no. And I texted to him, he called me straight up. And it was like, oh right, yeah. But you don't take loyalty for granted. It's only the special ones that are really loyal. And again, I put people like Tony Bellew in that bracket and other fighters as well. But let me tell you something, the ones that are loyal to you and the ones you trust like that are the ones you will go the extra mile for. And I said to Josh Warrington today, you know, I always talk about, there's been 2 or 3 occasions where in the meetings with Josh Warrington's team, I've asked for Josh Warrington to be there. And they've told him not to come. It would all be very different if he would have turned up. And it goes exactly the same for Chris Eubank Jr. as well. You come and sit down with me, you listen to my plans. Sometimes a manager got ulterior motives, might be promised some dates themselves or something like that. If you're a fighter and you're listening to this, always go to these meetings with your manager. Always. Remember that.
Could be the difference.
You just should know, shouldn't you? You don't know what's being said in those meetings.
It astounds me that fighters wouldn't want to be in the meetings.
Because they're told not to be. And this is when, you know, whenever you've got a problem with a fighter, the only problem I've ever had, or not even problem, but the fighters that I've lost or fallen out with are the ones that I had no relationship with at all. I never spoke to Carl Frampton once while I was promoting him. Josh Warrington, yeah, we spoke at shows. He's never been at one meeting. Might have been at one, the first one. But, you know, the last couple of meetings, never there. You know, when he phoned me today, we sort of said, you know, this is the first time we've ever talked about your boxing, your career, your future. And he's like, I know, I should start going to these meetings, shouldn't I? I said, mate, 100%. It's your future. You've got to make sure you're the boss, you're the governor, you're the one calling the shots. Because you don't know what's being said. And, you know, that's not a conversation about Josh Warrington, but, you know, I've never had a conversation with Chris Eubank Jr. other than 30 seconds at a show. He should be in those meetings. He's smart enough, you know, it's the same. You know, every fighter needs to look after themselves and secure themselves, protect themselves against what is out there in this business. And what is out there in this business is fur coat and no knickers. Do you know what that means, Kugan?
Yeah.
That means look at me in the fur coat, peel it all back, you start bollock naked. Fur coat, no knickers. That is this business all over. I've got this, I'll offer you this. Look at the substance behind the offers. Fur coat, no knickers. And that's not having a pop at one person in particular. That's talking about the boxing business. This is a short career. You make sure you have yourself secure. Your payment secure, your purse is secure, your schedule secure. You make a bad decision, particularly when you're turning pro, your career is finished before it's even started. That is what I tell with all the amateurs now. Especially amateurs turning pro. You make the wrong move, you go with the wrong people for that extra 10%, 20% of money, finished.
Take your time to answer this question.
Okay.
Have a little think about it.
Are you going to trick me with this one?
No, I'm not going to trick you, but just what you say may come back to haunt you.
Okay. I'm gonna
So,
take it.
where do you think...
Breathe in through the nose.
Where do you think Carl Frampton would be now if he had stayed with you?
I think he would be a Sky box office fighter. Well, he would be.
Would he have had those same fights? He's had a brilliant year.
I believe so, but they might say no. I'll tell you what, he would have learned a lot more for those fights. I mean, the biggest purse of his career is Scott Quick. And 1,000,000% if he was a Sky fighter, the Santa Cruz fight would be on pay-per-view. But he's done fantastically well, and Barry's done a great job, Jake's done a great job, Shane McGuigan has done a great job. You can't, it's not as if I can sit there as Carl Frampton and say, ha, look at you now. Because he's not, he's done brilliantly well. You asked me the question, where would he be? He'd be a box office fighter on Sky. So, and when you're a box office fighter on Sky, you get those fights no problems. You know. That's what, when I was talking to James DeGale the other day, I believe he should be fighting Badu Jack in the UK on pay-per-view. But he's not been built there. Now we've got to just invigorate James DeGale, win the unification against Badou Jack, and then we've got the Callum Smith fight. That's a big fight.
Is Cole Frampton probably the best example of you don't necessarily have to be with you to
You definitely don't have to be with me.
In this country.
No, you don't have to be with me. You have to be with me to be a Sky pay-per-view fighter. That's it. You don't. There's loads of options, places to go. You can make it without me. But I guarantee one thing, when you get to the top, you won't earn as much as you would with me. But again, you know, Carl, I think Carl and Shane and all those guys, when you look at their tweets, they've massively still got a big bee in their bonnet about me. But I'm genuinely never look at Carl Frampton and think, I hope you lose to Santa Cruz with a voodoo doll. I really respect and admire what he's done. You know, I think when you look at it, I think he has to be Fighter of the Year in 2016. I think he's a great fighter. I think he's got a great profile. Again, I think, you know, Cyclone done a really good job with him. And would we have, you know, all the things that he's done, would we have got Kiko Martinez to Belfast? Yeah, I believe we would have done. Would we have got the defence? Yeah, we did, standard. Would we have got Scott Quigg fight? Obviously. And then would we have got Santa Cruz fight? Well, yeah, that would have been on pay-per-view, and so would have this one. But again, you can't, you know. Yeah, I think they've done a great job. He's won every big fight that's been put in front of him. He's a very good fighter.
Just coming back to the gal, have you spoke to James?
Yeah, I had a meeting with James last week. Good meeting. Yeah.
Pals again?
We're always pals. You know, when I look back at what could have been for James over here, it does frustrate me a little bit. But at the same time, you know, he's had 2 fights, Bute fight, Medina fight, and now he's got a unification fight. I would have liked that fight here, but it's not. I believe he'll beat Badou Jack, and then he can move forward with a big fight with Callum Smith. So, I like James. You know, James, we kind of mix in similar circles. You know, we know a lot of people that know each other, and we get on very well. But again, there's another an example of a relationship where if he would have been involved more in a process with us, maybe it would have worked out differently. And every time we get together, we get on like house on fire. You know, and I believe he wants us on his side and his team, and I want to be on James DeGale's side and team as well. I think he's one of the best fighters in the world.
Let's move on to fight week. Tomorrow kicks off in Manchester, 6 till 9 at the Manchester Arena.
Yeah, get yourself down there, free entrance. Manchester Arena, so many people working out. Dave Allen, Luis Ortiz, Luis Concepcion, Dylan White, Jose Burton, Scott Quigg, Callum Smith, Molina, AJ, etc. Starts at 6.
Anthony Joshua confirmed Robert McCracken as his coach, being in the corner of him this week. Yeah, talk to me a little bit about that.
Yeah, I think it's a big, you know, it doesn't take a rocket scientist to work out that AJ and McCracken have been very close, and although Tony Sims has been the head trainer, McCracken's always been there. You know, it's not like he's just appointed a new man he met. He's been a massive part of his amateur career and a big part of his pro career as well. Because of the regulations in place with, you know, the amateur setup, he hasn't been allowed to be in his corner and work with him as much as he'd like. Now that's changed. Of course, he used to work with Frotch, have him in his corner, and now Rob McCracken can be hands-on all the time in training and also in the corner as well. It's a big plus for AJ, who has in Rob McCracken a man that he trusts implicitly, and it doesn't mean that he doesn't trust Tony Sims or the other guys. It's just that Rob is AJ's mentor, really, and to have that man in your corner as we step up and become involved in the fights. And I tell you, I don't believe this is an easy fight at all against Molina, and my bum is already going because of what lays ahead. And this fight, when you're in with people that aren't afraid to let their hands go, anything can happen. and the pressure on AJ because of what lies ahead, I'm nervous about this fight. And you know, McCracken's in the corner. I think it's great news for AJ. Obviously, Tony Sims is massively involved in the camp still. He'll be in the corner as well. But as we progress now and become involved in the fights where we need to have everything 1,000,000% in line, in tune, in sync, it's important that this has happened.
Tony Sims will still be involved?
100%. Yeah. I mean, look, you know how close Rob and Tony are. I mean, they've all been working together. Just Rob hasn't had as much involvement as he will now, because now he's allowed to be AJ's trainer, and he's allowed to be in the corner, and he's allowed to have the input. You know, otherwise Tony's in the corner, and obviously you're going to train more with Tony because he's the guy on the night that's going to execute the game plan. But Tony and Rob are like that. You know, through Frocci's career, it was the same kind of setup, and they'll be looking for the same success with AJ.
Joshua, how many times will he fight next year? 3?
Yeah, probably 3. Yeah, I mean, look, you know, looking at the Klitschko fight, probably end of April. Then you got the summer fight, and then you got the winter fight. So, you know, sometimes when you move to the elite stage, you only fight twice a year. But I'd like AJ to fight 3 times a year, really, at the moment. You know, we're going to go to America in early January for the DeGale fight. Start, you know, exposing him to the US media a lot more. And I hope that one of the fights in 2017 will be in America. You know, whether it's against Deontay Wilder or another US opponent.
So, he'll fight end of April, what, June?
Yeah, end of June, early July, something like that, and then once in the winter.
Where does Haye-Bellew fit into Anthony Joshua's plans for next year? Because I know the Haye fight.
Well, that's a fight. I mean, the only thing on my mind at the moment for AJ is Klitschko. So.
Or Molina, rather.
No, yeah, but obviously beating Molina is Klitschko. Get that sorted. Get that announced. Get that out there. Huge fight. And that's a tough fight. It's a 50-50 fight. So, but once you beat Klitschko and earn the kind of money that he can earn to fight Klitschko, you just, you know, that's Bern Bonte. You just don't go backwards. You know, just say that. Right, we picked it up again.
He's just on the phone.
Haye-Bellew. Yeah, I'm just looking at, obviously he's got to beat Molina, Klitschko, and then, you know, what do we do from there? Do we fight the winner of Haye-Bellew? Do we fight Deontay Wilder? I just can't see him moving back into a normal fight by then, you know?
So you believe this will be his last normal fight, hopefully?
Well, again, I've got to be careful what I say with you, because someone will play this back in 6 months' time when we're fighting Audley Harrison. And, my line of thinking is once you've earned that kind of money, you've been in a fight of that magnitude, you don't want to step back and earn a quarter of what you just earned. You want to move forward into the big super fights. And I think, you know, Wilder, Haye, Bellew, Klitschko obviously is the way. And you know, you've got the Parker Ruiz winner as well. Yeah. So, you know, we're speaking to them.
What about his mandatory currently is Pulev still or not?
Pulev at the moment, yeah.
Yeah. But you've offered him the fight, didn't want
No, but he might do, you know, when it's a 75-25, I don't know. But we'll see how that plays out.
Okay. I forgot to ask you about O'Hara Davis. Been slagging everyone on Twitter off. It's great. Yeah. I mean, what do you see here for O'Hara? I mean, I'd like
to make a Josh Taylor fight. I think that's a fight where, and again, I know I'm going to get stick for saying this, but trust me, both camps feel the same. Don't worry about the fighters. That fight's too early for me. I'd like that fight in 2 or 3 fights' time. And people will go, oh, why? Because you think he's going to get beat? No, because I think that is 2 excellent young fighters that can be built into a big fight. Right? So if Barry McGuigan comes to me and says, we want that fight now, and I go to Tony Sims and say they want the fight, then it's a different story. For me, that's a fight that can be built for 2017. Still in 2017. But one fight that I think we're looking at probably for the Bellew-Haye card is Derry Matthews against O'Hara, because they've always had a little bit of beef.
I thought he retired.
Well, I think he's happy to move up to light welterweight and have a big fight. But again, you know, I put a text into Matthew Macklin today. We'll see if they want the fight. O'Hara, you know, you've got to remember, O'Hara's gone from, you know, this kid that was in trouble and, you know, had not issues in his life, but, you know, had very few opportunities in his life, has built his career from nowhere through hard work, dedication, and he's now in a position where he's in the limelight. He's WBC silver champion, he's top 10 in the world, he's just boxed as main event on Sky, and with that, doesn't matter if it's that or you or me, with the increased followers, with more people talking, you get all kinds of different responses and reactions. Some people calling you a prick, some people saying you're great, some people abusing your family, some people, that's just what comes with being in the spotlight or in the limelight. And I think the difficulty for O'Hara is to accept that. He doesn't, you know, he gets his back up when people talk badly about him or negatively about him. You know, I see him and Spencer Fearon like going out, and I was like, I'll text O'Hara, I said, listen, just come off your social media today. Just relax. You're not going to please everybody. You know, all Spencer Fearon was doing was talking honestly about his opinion of O'Hara's performance. But O'Hara didn't like that. But you've got, that's part and parcel of becoming in the spotlight. People are going to criticise, people are going to hate on you, people are going to wish you well. You just have to deal with it. Some people can deal with it, some people can't. But O'Hara against Josh Taylor is a really good fight that I'd love to make for 2017. But I think first might be Derry Matthews on that card, providing he wants to fight, and I believe he does. So, I'll say.
I like that. Right, Chisora-Whyte. What's going on with head-to-head? There's no way you can not have a head-to-head.
No, I will have a head-to-head, but the problem is, as soon as they see each other, I know what's going to happen. They can't control themselves. So when we do a presser on Wednesday, and I'm going to do a presser just for them, by the way, on your advice last night.
Yes.
Yes. I don't know, because they're not going to listen to me. So we're going to keep them other end of the tables. We'll put Mark Tibbs in the middle, Don Charles in the middle, and some security in the middle. This is for the press conference, right? And they've got to behave. And then for the head-to-head, we're going to put them in Zorbs. No, I'm serious. No, I've spoken to them.
No. What,
no, you know the balls.
I know what they are, yeah.
No, that's what we've agreed. And they're just going to roll into each other.
What are you going to... Seriously, what
I'm going to put security in between them.
So how are they going to actually face off?
They're going to face off. You're going to have one here and one where you are, right? And there's going to be a line of two lines of security with a little gap in the middle.
Why don't you just get in a fence?
You don't just get a fence, do you? Like, and that fence, you've got to understand, the fence that was used last time, it was only for, it wasn't even that bad blood between them by then. That fence you can pick up and sling away. The fence is irrelevant. What you need is, when Dylan White looks at Chisora and goes for him, you need him to be held back by about 8 lumps.
But you want enough to see how far it could go.
No, but you're just a view whore. That's what you are. Listen, I want to just get him in the ring, let him fight. Okay, you got gloves are off tomorrow night.
Yeah, what are we going to see on that?
I think they're going to show a little bit.
What, of the actual?
Yeah.
Really?
I think so. You get to hear it, that's for sure. But this just, you know, you got that. I said, you know, you got Haye-Bellew on the night.
It's just...
It is, like I say, part of it's great for the build-up, but we've just got to make sure that it's just not too X-rated.
It's wank week for IFL.
It is, isn't it? You can do a lot of views this week.
We smashed that Bellew day.
Did you?
Oh,
how many views did the head-to-head get?
So it's on about 850.
Is that good?
Yeah, it's quite good. It's our third most highest video we've got.
Ever?
Yeah.
And it's still rolling.
First was Briggs and Haye. Second was Joshua and Stormzy. And this is third. But listen, within a couple of weeks that would have hit over 1 million. But yeah, it's good. This fuck is massive interest.
Well, also massive revenue from you. For a YouTube advertiser service.
More so our gym sponsorship from Macklin's and William Hill.
Are you on a bonus for views? Are you on those?
No, unfortunately.
But you just like to
We're quite
deliver.
lucky. We are
you just
lucky.
like to deliver for your sponsors, don't you?
Well, we deliver for the boxing fans, but
That's what you're all about, isn't it?
we are quite lucky. No, we're not lucky actually. It's not luck. It is hard work, dedication,
Easy work.
consistency. Not necessarily the best, but the most consistent.
When you say not necessarily the best,
Well, I'm not.
you talk about your service, like
No, service. I'm saying like me and James. I'm not claiming to be like
the best interviewers ever.
No, not.
But you're just solid.
But we're consistent.
Yeah,
That's the
solid
thing.
was the word I was looking for.
Solid, consistent.
Solid, consistent. You're sort of like, you know, it's not great, but it's always there. You know what I mean? Is that what you mean?
No, I think it is great because sometimes
It's a little bit Mickey Mouse, but you can always rely on it. is that what you're saying?
no, but it's not the content is not really from us. It's from who we're interviewing. That's where what people want to see. Me and James could be like Morecambe and Wise, or
Well, then obviously I think you'd do better if you were any good.
we are good. The numbers don't lie. You know about numbers. You're a numbers whore as
Yeah,
well.
but you know what? Do you know, because right? You've got so much front. It's unbelievable. I was thinking the other day.
Yeah.
Now you know what Katie Taylor's like, right? She's very, she doesn't really like. She's a little bit like me. She doesn't like the attention. She doesn't like the cameras, right? And her change room before the fight was very, very quiet and everything. Anyway, after the fight, I've gone back into her change room to congratulate her. We're all talking. I've gone like that, and you're there, right? And actually, looking back, I was like, how do you even get in these places? And the front that you've got to just bowl in the change room when all the media are outside waiting for an interview, you're already in there.
Respect.
Respect.
What we got?
No, but
Well, we played
your
a game-
front gets you a long way. Is it dark in here, by the way?
No, it's fine. It's all right. It is getting a bit dark.
Yeah.
But we also play the game. And we don't ever try and piss you off, and we don't try and piss Sky off.
Well, it's important.
Well,
Because
I'm
you
just
used to take liberties and just bowl around with your camera at ringside, like filming the
still do
fight.
that, but-
Just someone I saw the other day, one of the photographers has just filmed the fight. And he's just put it, I mean, it's like, what is wrong with these people? Barred.
We've never done that.
Banned, son.
We've never done that. We've never
You used to
done
do it. You used
Never
to pop
filmed the
up.
fight.
No, but you used to pop up
Never
at
filmed the
ringside
fight.
when it was all
Yeah,
going
but-
off and go,
Yeah, and if it goes off again this week, I'll be there again.
I know you will.
But listen, it's all for the good of sport.
oh, is it? Oh, there you
We're
go.
repping Matchroom, we're
Yeah.
repping Sky Sports.
Yeah.
So it's all good. All right, Eddie Hearn, unless you've got anything else to add.
No, just roll on this Saturday. Really excited. I want to tell you a few things. Number one is, Burton Buglioni is a great fight. Where is your money in that fight?
Mr. B.
I'll tell you that is good.
Respect.
Yeah. Are you going to say? Or,
Not on camera, no. We've got to speak to these fighters.
okay, let me tell you another really good fight. This could all come back to haunt me. Quig Cayetano.
Okay.
Watch Cayetano's last fight, right? That coming back from injury, like Quig, not boxing for, 10 months? That is a tough, tough fight. Conception against Yafai is an unbelievable fight, okay? Dave Allen is one of the funniest motherfuckers I've ever... Did you see his tweet the other night?
Yeah. You could be
This time
back
next
or-
week, I'm
yeah.
either going to have shocked the boxing world or be on my back. That's quite a tricky fight for Ortiz, and I know people might like, but like, you know, I don't know. He's probably thinking, what am I going to get here?
No disrespect to Malik Scott, but Dave Allen will show more than Malik Scott.
Yeah,
you know.
yeah. Well, he'll show a lot more heart. He might be easier to hit. That's the problem. He has got a great chin, but Ortiz is a beast. Can't wait to see Katie Taylor back. Callum Smith, touch wood. Final one before the unification fight.
Conor Ben added.
Yeah, Conor Ben added because
Good.
he was had a cold for the London show. Marcus Morrison is also on the bill. God knows how we're going to get it all in. I'm not being funny. It's a massive card. Massive. So get your popcorn ready.
He's back in boxing.
He is.
Careful.
I like it.
I
He don't like me. I don't think a lot of people like me really.
I'd go along with that, but it doesn't matter because you're delivering.
Thanks, mate.
Right.
Just want to be loved.
You are loved.
Only by my fighters.
Inside your four walls.
Cheers, mate.
The matchroom walls. I don't think that you're a bad person. I think you try hard.
Would you stick up for me if someone coated me off?
People do to me. Like my mate the other day. Right, I won't say his name.
Well, tell me, because I'm going to go around and see him if he's mugging me off. What did he say?
He went, that Eddie Hearn, he comes across a prick, right? And I went, do you know what?
Yeah, but that's your fault.
No, it's not.
It is, because, we're doing all these videos.
My mate don't watch none of my videos.
What did he watch then?
He watches you on Sky.
Right, okay.
He honestly don't watch, I'm telling the truth, he doesn't watch any of my videos.
Maybe he should.
He goes, he comes across like proper prick, he does. I went, no, do you know what? He's actually alright. Is he? I went, yeah, he's actually alright. But forget all that camera talk, it's just selling fights and that. But, when I'm with him, when we're out, down Little Tree, he's alright. O'Neill's, yeah. Eclipse.
Yeah, sometimes I read my Twitter and just like, wow, people are so angry, aren't they? That's what I've noticed lately. I had a guy the other day on my Snapchat, yeah, and he's like, because I followed all those people by mistake, so I just get these random Snapchats. So this guy, he sends me a Snapchat and he's gone, I hate you, Hearn, I hope you die, or something like this. I thought, that's pleasant. So I was sitting at home, I don't normally reply to him, so I didn't reply. And then he sends one back, oh, I've seen you've opened it, you are scum, or something like this. So I've gone back, you clearly have demons in your life. I genuinely hope you can overcome them and find peace, or something like that. Like really just to get it. He's gone, I have no demons in my life, Hearn, C-U-N-T. Actually, I thought I've got him here. So I just kept going. I went, no, you clearly have. And once again I say, I genuinely hope you can overcome your problems and find purpose in your life. He's come back, he's lost the plot. He's going, I have purpose in my life and I'm very happy actually. I just think I said, I'm going to go now. Once again, I really hope that you can overcome this. And if you need any help, there are people out there that can help you with your path in life. He went absolutely potty. And then he went away. But there's so much hatred, like, this bloke the other day is like, you con man, you're ripping me off with your pay-per-view card. It's like, mate, you haven't bought it, it's up to you. If that's how you feel, don't buy it. If you don't think this night of boxing is worth £16.95, don't buy it. But don't go into Domino's and have a Hawaiian large pizza with a couple of little sides on the side for 20 quid and start moaning because you've just eaten 1,200 calories. It's entertainment. But it's up to you. People's got to stop being so, I don't know, why is there so much hatred? Do you think it's just, going back to that guy on Snapchat, do you think it's just because he's so unhappy?
Do you know what?
Or is it just social media? It just gives you a chance to like go at someone. Because a lot of times you'll go back and you'll say something like, some bloke the other day goes, you are a silver spoon, smug, C-U-N-T. And I went back to him and said, thank you. I went back to him and said, you can pipe down because you've done nothing since the Goonies. Right? Because he looked like the bloke out of the Goonies. And everyone's going, oh, you proper bit there. And it's like, hang on, you just called me this. I'm only having a bit of fun with you. But some people are just burning with hatred. If they could turn that hatred into positivity, this interview's going the wrong way now anyway.
We've got 40 seconds. 30 seconds.
No, actually, don't lose the hatred. Keep it coming because it's quite amusing. Saturday night, see you in Manchester tomorrow night. Get yourself to the arena. Doors open at 6 o'clock. It's a big celebration of British boxing. Let's go this Saturday. Let's go champ AJ. Let's go Calify, new world champ. Let's go Scott Quigg, he returns. Let's go Callum Smith. We're gunning for the unification. Let's go Katie Taylor. Let's see you again. Burton Buglioni. It's all out British war. And Dylan against Chisora.